My name is Lucy Jin. I recently began my sophomore year at Loyola University in Chicago, and I'm studying to become a nurse. Thank you all for joining me and my fellow scholars, and thank you to all the wonderful hosts who made this evening possible. It gives me such a great pleasure to speak to this community tonight, as I myself just grew up a few miles from here and graduated from Downers Grove South High School. When I was younger, I felt very different from others in my community in Downers Grove. I grew up as a second-generation Chinese immigrant, and I often felt left out among my peers because I looked different, and my culture at home was vastly unlike that of my friends. You see, my parents immigrated to the US from China at the age of 20 to seek a better life and more opportunities. When they were young, they were denied a proper education because they had to work. My mother sold paint as a teenager, and my father sold fish to support his entire family. However, their lives in America was anything but easy. They lived in the basement of my aunt's home. My mother experienced depression and was in an abusive relationship with my father, which affected me in turn because that led her to emotionally abusing me. I never thought twice that this was anything but the normal for mothers to treat their child in a cold and distant way. I grew up in a home where I didn't know what love was. But my mother has since overcome depression, and we are closer than I thought that I ever imagined possible. Today, my father is unemployed, and my mother continues to work day in and day out at a restaurant in town as we hover near the poverty line. My family of three earns less than $12,000 a year. Looking back, there were times I felt that I was missing out on an innocent childhood, because from the moment I could walk, I helped my parents with their restaurant and served as a connection between them and the outside world. I translated, completed forms, and filled in whenever was needed. There was one critical moment that shaped my character and understanding of what my parents were trying to accomplish. In elementary school, I was overjoyed to be given a solo during a recital. When the big moment came, I looked out into the crowd, and my parents were nowhere to be found. I felt devastated and insignificant because my parents missed such an important moment. But I slowly began to understand why they couldn't take off work. Not only to put food on the table, but also because they wanted to provide me with the best life possible. Their sacrifices drove me to rise to their example of perseverance and hard work, and to make them proud. Because of this, I dedicated myself to becoming an exemplary student, and I also found joy in sharing my deep appreciation and love for the Chinese culture to my peers and my younger students. I became a teacher's assistant to help students learning Chinese and a peer tutor. I was named an Illinois State Scholar and graduated the top 10% of my high school class. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from high school and to continue to college. That brings me to my first year at Loyola University. A startling fact of higher education in the US is that first-generation college students, like myself, are 4 times more likely to drop out during their freshman year than their peers with parents who attended college. For me, this is where Greenhouse Scholars has made all the difference. Like many of my peers, my college transition was marked by challenges, from balancing rigorous academics with social life to overcommitting to community involvement and extracurricular activities. Because my parents didn't attend college, I could have found myself in a situation where I had no one to turn to. But as a Greenhouse Scholar, I'm able to turn to my mentor, Lisa, who is actually here today, sitting over there, who has provided empathy, guidance, and advice during those challenges. To me, she is like my second mother. Truly, she helped me turn my critical freshman year around. I'm proud to say that I pushed myself harder than I ever thought I could, and I made the Dean's List this past year. Lisa's mentorship continues to show me how powerful it is to have support and to not be afraid to ask for help. I'm also incredibly thankful for my Greenhouse Scholars peers, one of whom I met this past summer. I only met her for three nights and 4 days, and I was able to connect with her like I couldn't do that with anyone else in my entire life. And one quote that describes our friendship perfectly is, "From the outside looking in, you can't understand it, but from the inside looking out, you can't explain it." And that's how we are. We come from such diverse backgrounds, yet we are able to have this bond that no one else could ever have. They're my people, and most importantly, they're my family. Reflecting on my first year in college, I see Greenhouse Scholars support not as a scholarship bonus, but as truly life-changing. All the layers of support not only allowed me to succeed in college, but also to become a true leader and a catalyst for change. I am able to extend myself beyond academic excellence and apply myself to bettering my community and every community I touch. This year at Loyola, I was elected to lead the service committee for my fraternity, Alpha Kappa Psi, as well as be a class representative for my nursing council. As an orientation leader this summer, I was able to help acclimate new students to the Loyola community. I also dedicate every Tuesday and Friday to volunteering at a local soup kitchen. I see the rest of my scholar peers improving the communities as well, and I am in awe of the broader impact we are generating together. In the future, I hope to utilize my career in nursing to change the trajectory of not only my family, whose perseverance has given me so much opportunity, but also to touch the lives of countless individuals and communities in need. As you may have noticed, I've mentioned the word community several times. Indeed, it is one of Greenhouse Scholars' core values. I'm so honored to share my story with this community tonight, one that is so close to home for me. Without this community here tonight, without each one of you, Greenhouse Scholars would not be creating such an enormous, meaningful impact on me, my fellow scholars, our families, and our communities. Thank you so much for your support and for being a catalyst for change with us.